Welcome to Cinematic Thoughts. And today I'm going to discuss Flowers in the Attic. Now, the version that I've seen of this movie was the 2014 version with Heather Graham. I know there is an 80s version, but I haven't seen that. And this also is a book that came out in the 70s. I'm just glad that this was not on my summer reading list when I was in school because I probably would still be traumatized to this very day. When the movie comes on, you see a mother and you see her children, and then you see dad come home. You don't know where dad is coming from, but you can tell that he's been gone for a while, and he comes home bearing gifts, and everyone is happy to see him. So that already set the tone that this family indeed loves their father. And Catherine, that's the oldest daughter. So they have four. Okay, so they have four children. Catherine, Christopher, and the two little twins. They're like 6 years old, and Catherine and Christopher, they're teenagers. And then there's mom. Mind you, Heather Graham played a great job of being kind of like, a little bit dingy, and it really worked well for this movie. What winds up happening is that dad dies. He got into a car accident, and Connie, Heather Graham, she tells the kids after a little minute, like, okay, you all, we gonna have to leave from here. We can't stay. Your dad and I, we took some loans out. We did some things. They're gonna come in here and take everything. But I'm wealthy. She's wealthy. She comes from a great family, the Foxworths, and that she has an inheritance that she wants to get in on. And so that's where they're going to go. So they take the train and they leave to go and get their inheritance. Mind you, their mother tells them, the four children, that, all right, my dad, he's kind of upset with me because I was with your father. And so she tells them, like, I have to work my way back into his good graces. He's about to die soon. So it won't be long. So the kids, okay, they're at least Christopher and other little ones, they're pretty excited about it. Catherine, that was my girl. Catherine was always on it, even to the point where her mom at one point was like, can't get nothing past you, huh, Catherine? And like, right, because Catherine's not a dummy, all right? She sees what's going on. So they get to the home, and mind you, there's this older woman that comes down and hushes them up the steps. All right, she's not welcoming. So at first you don't know who this woman is. I thought she was a maid or somebody or the keeper of the home. But come to find out, she's their grandmother. So she is Connie's mother, right? So she tells them, hush, you keep it down. And she brings them to this room. So this room is not a big room. And there's two beds. And she's like, okay, I want girl, girl, and boy, boy. Like, you don't do no boy and girl sleeping together in the same bed and all of that. So you can see already that she's kind of on one from jump. And so she have these rules. And so she tells them, like, you can't play, you can't do all of this. And so Catherine is like, well, these are kids. Like, they need to stretch their legs and run around. She's like, fine, y'all can play in the attic, but still keep it down. So right from the bedroom that they're in, there are steps that leads up to the attic. So it's just right there. All right, good. So mom is like, okay, you all, I'll be back to visit. So mom doesn't sleep in the same room with them. She just comes to visit them, okay, every so often. So they're up in the attic and they're playing, and I guess they are the flowers in the attic, actually, although they did draw some flowers to be in the attic to appear to be a play garden because this is all they know. And so mom will come by to visit. Now, mind you, mom will come by the next day to visit, and she literally, the grandmother is just being mean as usual. And she's like, yeah, show them your back. Show your children your back. And so I'm like, what does she mean, show her back? This woman is being beat. This woman was punished by her mother. I don't know what the book entails when it comes to this, but what is going on? This is a grown adult woman with children and been off married and having a family. How is she coming back home and she's being whipped, beaten, and actually have marks to show for it? It's like, oh my gosh, girl, you didn't, you know, you just took it. Well, obviously she just took it, but yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, the book, I'm sure, go into much detail of what was going on with the grandmother. And mind you, the grandmother, her whole thing is that these children are the spawn of Satan because of how the mom, Connie, and their dad got together. So how the mom explained it to the children was that their father is their grandfather's half brother. And they were around the same age, so not like he was an older man. And he would come for the summer, I believe, and they just kind of got close and started liking each other and ran off to be together. And the thing with her inheritance, it was based on the fact that you did that, you ran off with him, but you shall never have children either, or else you for sure never get jack nothing. And so the whole premise of the children having to be in the attic and not to be hidden is because, well, daddy, grandpa, he's starting to warm up to his daughter again. Since now, I guess his half brother is dead and she's back home, but he does not know that she have children with him. So that's the part that is being hidden, the fact that there are children which she for sure was forbidden to have. That's why they gotta wait till he dies for her to get the inheritance. But grandmother, she knows, and so that's why she's just like, okay, I can hide y'all up here until that time comes. And I don't know, it's kind of weird because, like I said, mom is in and out. She comes to visit, she takes spells off, but she's not visiting as much. When she comes, she's all happy and she's giddy. And Catherine is just peeping game, like, something's not right. And Christopher, at first, he was a little bit naive, like, no, she really whatever. And eventually, he got his mind right to recognize, like, oh no, something isn't what it's cracked up to be, because we've been up here for so long. Like, by the end of the movie, those children was up in that attic about like a good 2 years. 2 years of not running around in grass, 2 years of not walking outside. There is a scene actually where Catherine and Christopher, they do sneak outside at night and they run in the grass, they jump in a pond, and they wind up seeing a deer. So yeah, they did actually touch grass. 2 years of not going to school, that was a part for me. These children are not in school. No one is coming upstairs to teach them their ABCs, algebra, nothing. So they are just literally withdrawn from the world altogether in every capacity. The grandmother had this thing with them and incest because of their mother and their father, how they got together. The grandmother is like, every time she sees the oldest two, Christopher and Catherine, it's like, oh, don't look at your sister like that. Oh yeah, you like your sister. Like, it's like, wow. Even if they didn't have those thoughts, she was creating those thoughts in their head. Lo and behold, they do start to develop these thoughts for each other and they wind up sleeping together. Yes, the incest was incesting. Now, mind you, I know it's a book. I know this is how the story goes, but they were not in that attic that long for all of that. They wasn't there. It's not like this was a Blue Lagoon situation where, okay, these were little, two little kids that were stranded on an island all the way from childhood to adulthood. And all right, come on, life. That's not the story here. It's like, y'all wasn't in the attic that long you need to do what? With who? It really could not have been that serious. Like, you could get some more fresh air. Damn, I think I would have ran away by this time before all of that happens. Like, I would have been like, oh, I need a boyfriend. I need me a boyfriend. I'm really yearning for a boyfriend. I would have been trying to see if there was a pool boy or something I would have been trying to flirt with. But it just wasn't. Anyway, it wasn't about me, right? This story is not about me. It's about this character, Catherine. So, yes, still Catherine and Christopher, they develop these feelings and love for each other, I guess, out of being isolated so long. Again, it just was like 2 years. Unless the book says that it was longer than 2 years, but literally, they just were saying 2 years in the movie. So they wind up, and the grandmother's like, yeah. But in a way, it's like, well, grandma, you kept saying it. Like, you probably was putting those thoughts in their head that they may initially did not have. Like, she was creating what she feared, which was incest. I don't know, with this family, the incest was pretty there already, because even at the party that was thrown at the house, when Connie's father comes out in the wheelchair and the toast and everything, and he gives her a gift, like, she kisses him on the lips. Now, mind you, she's not a little girl anymore where, that might have been acceptable. Like, she's a grown woman now. Like, the camera looks at the mother, at the, grandmother, and she just made like a look. So I'm wondering if there are things that the grandmother don't like about the relationship between Connie and her father just growing up. And then on top of that, here go Connie being with the half uncle and actually having children. And I don't know, the spawn of Satan and the devil is just a lot. And but that was just a little weird scene for me when she kissed him on the lips. It was like, I don't know what's really going on with this family in entirety. What's happening over here? Ultimately, Connie, she leaves for an extended period of time, right? Like she's been gone for a while to the point where she comes back and she's all giddy. She's happy. She have new clothes on. I mean, life is really good for my girl. She's not my girl, but life is good for her. And so the kids are not into her at all anymore because at this point we have to be going into a year and some months. And she goes to like the little twins, like, oh, mommy's here. And they like literally walk away from her, like, who are you? And they go to their other older siblings because again, you're not here, you're not raising them, you're not doing anything. Connie, she kind of pushed her buttons with Catherine, and Catherine was like, you know what? I think she came to say that she was on her honeymoon. She got married, and Catherine was not hearing that. Like, you're married, and yet we're in this attic, and you've been away on vacation, on holiday, on your honeymoon. And you're coming back like, oh, I have gifts for you all, and oh, this and that. Yes, Catherine, she was upset, and she told her mama something like, you know, when we get out of here, I'm gonna let your husband know about us, and I'm gonna tell everything. And I think it was in this moment where Catherine may have put her foot in her mouth, and her mom said, "Okay, bet this. I will never let that happen." So the next day, here come grandmother. She have some donuts, and she's like, "This is from your mother." Mind you, the grandmother gave a little hint, like, "I wouldn't eat it if I was you." It's like she said it, and she was like, "Okay, adios. I gotta go." And the reason why is because mom put arsenic on the donuts for her children to eat so that they could die. The little brother, little boy twin, he falls very ill to the point that now mom and grandma comes up there and Catherine is like, he needs to go to a hospital. Baby, that mama, Connie was like, no, I'm not taking him to the hospital. And she was like, look at him. Like, he is sick. He needs to go. And it wasn't until grandmother, she wound up having a little heart. Grandmother said, you know what? Yeah, he needs to go. You need to take him. And that's when she, you know, wound up taking him. Mind you, the next day she comes back and they're inquiring, like, what's going on? Where our little brother? What's happening? Is he good? This the mama. Like, no, he died. She's not crying. She doesn't even look like she's been crying. Yeah, he's dead and he's already buried. What? It was in that moment, like after they left, that Catherine and Christopher was like, "Oh, we got to get out of here." At one point in the movie, Christopher got a little whatever with the grandmother, which was rightfully so because he was just over it. Like everyone was just over it, and then losing their little brother. Well, it's like, well, come on. So while Christopher is downstairs trying to just get some money and see what he can get, he overhears the butler and the maid talking, and guess what? Grandpa died 7 months ago. What? Oh, Grandpa been dead. So all this time while the mom would have them up there thinking that, okay, she's going to come for us when she get her inheritance once grandpa died, and we're going to be able to come downstairs out of the attic and live and get a room and live and be a happy family. Mm-mm. Mama is gone off with her husband, and she don't give a damn about her children, and that's just a wrap on that. Like we don't see her no more. She's gone, packed up. The room is empty. So ultimately, at the end, the kids wind up getting out of there. They wind up just scrapping enough money from what they was able to take throughout the time period, and they're like, "That's it, we're leaving." Because what there was nothing else there for them, and there was no more hope or dream that they were going to ever be a family again. And their mother was now gone and had abandoned them after leaving them in an attic for all of that time. and after losing their little brother. That was Flowers in the Attic. I mean, I never read the book, and I kind of just heard of it just in life, growing up. But like I said, in the beginning, I'm just glad that this was not a book that I had to read in school, because as an adult now, I'm like, ooh, that was a lot. And then I also know that there are other books after this that kind of goes into them being adults, and yeah, that's very interesting. Get in the comments. Tell me about the book. If you read the book, you definitely can spoil it. I do not mind, because I really do want to know, like, what was the going on with this family? What's going on with grandma? What was going on with grandma and grandpa? Like, I'm invested in this. I probably will never read the book, but if you did, let me know. Was this on your summer reading list growing up? Because you might want to go back and sue your school system, because children should not have been reading this book at a young age. This was not appropriate for young minds. But other than that, thank you all for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more.